Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another round of Super Rugby Pacific, and this one, just like last week, we've got a top of the table versus bottom of the table clash between the Chiefs and Moana Pasifika. Looking there at the way that the table sits, 18 points for this Chiefs side. They have only lost one contest, and that was the matchup up against none other than the Fijian Drua. And from there, we have seen Moana Pasifika get the one win that was over the Hurricanes. So we'll have to wait and see if they can do it again. It was at this exact ground, their home ground for this year. Hopefully it is a very entertaining game. Looking through at these starting lineups. First of all, for Moana Pasifika, it is going to be Abraham Puli alongside Sana Revi and Sione Mafaleo as the front row. Tom Savage and Alan Craig in the locks, and Tawalangi at 6. Whaialangi at 7. So, of course, no Adi Savia here in this loose ball trio. It's been a little bit of a concern. Quite a few Moana Pasifika fans seeing that man's name not included. And then Tailoa as the number 8. Tamatine and Pellegrini will be the 19 combo. Lalo Milo in the midfield alongside Pipisana Patafilo. Tauma Falau out on the left. He's already scored 5 tries in 4 games, which is absolutely insane. He is a dream for the fantasy side of things. Anyone who is playing that. And then Lossi Filippo out on the other wing with William Havili at number 15. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Chiefs, it is Jared Prophet, Bradley Slater, and Ruben O'Neill in their 3 jersey. Naitoa Kois alongside Tupavai, then Samapini Finau, Kalen Boshier, and Luke Jacobson make up the loose forward trio. It's going to be Xavier Rowe and Damien McKenzie in the 9-10 channel, Gideon Rappling and Daniel Rona in the middle, Leroy Carter, Imoni Narawa, and Sean Stevenson there at number 15. So a little bit of a, I don't want to say makeshift team, but definitely not what some people would regard as the strongest Chiefs lineup here for this matchup. And the one thing that they have to make sure that they don't get wrong in the same regard as the Hurricanes did, and that is underestimating this Moana Pasifika side. They are a very strong team on their given day. We have got there in the chat, unsurprised the Mighty Chiefs aren't resting top line players, says Kiwi Rob. See, they've gone with a little bit of a mix here in terms of certain top players they have decided to leave out. But then also at the same time, you know, McKenzie's still in there. He's going to take some big hits, I'm sure, from Moana Pasifika. The back 3 is outstanding for the Chiefs. Where can I see the live in TV? Whereabouts are you from? As that will heavily affect what you are able to do in terms of watching. Some options are free. Other ones, unfortunately, are behind paid subscriptions. We have got Evening Hamish. I'm forecasting a Chiefs victory by 14 plus. Says David the Mod. It's a possibility, and that's the thing. I think that the Hurricanes going into their game also felt like a big win was on the cards. Moana Pasifika somehow just found that next level. I'm saying 14 plus for Moana. That's a very bold call. Would be their biggest win of the season. In fact, it would be close to their biggest win ever they were able to do so. The First Nations and Pacifica XB will face official Lions Rugby at Melbourne's Marvel Stadium on Tuesday, July 22nd. Breaking news from yesterday afternoon. Yep, awesome game that it is going to be, not just for the Lions, but also for the Pacific Islands, being able to showcase their rugby as well. But what we're quickly going to do, I do see that we've still got the Stade de France to our side. Although looking at it, I don't know where else. You know what? We're going to go with FMG just next to us. Makes a little bit of sense since it is Moana Pasifika taking on the Chiefs here. And we have there, let's go the Mighty Chiefs, let's go Chiefs, let's go Moana Pasifika. Says Matthew, what's your plans for the Lions store, says Kiwi Rob? We're going to be covering it on the channel. If that is the ask. Like, we're not going to be going over to Australia to watch it or anything along those lines, but we will just be doing what we've done for a very long time, and also what we did for the South African, British and Irish Lions tour, which was covering those games as well. But Moana Pasifika, led by Tom Savage, one of these experienced veterans of the game. He's played all around the world now, find themselves in Super Rugby, all games or just the bigger ones. Probably all the matches, I would say, as long as there's no like major overlaps. But the good news is most of the big games are going to be taking place at decent hours, so we should be able to do them all. But Kieran Tamafalau, man to watch out for in this contest. We'll be covering the URC this weekend, says LFG. We're going to be doing 2 matches of the URC. Zebre taking on the Sharks, and then also Bulls versus Leinster. There is an overlap involving South African sides, which is why we're unable to do the Stormers game. And then also Cardiff versus the Lions happening early morning tomorrow for us here in New Zealand, and I've got a couple of things I have to get done before cricket in the afternoon. Hello, says No Mum, welcome in. You are doing extremely well. Just showing that last game for Pellegrini was actually up against the Canes and had quite the performance in it. Referee in charge of this one, it will be Marcus Playle, Angus Maybe, Fraser Hannon, and Shane McDermott is the TMO. But I'm very excited for this game. It's a great way to start the Super Rugby weekend. Of course, this is going to be the last weekend for this period anyway, before we go into only 4 matches next week. Then we jump, of course, back up to the 5, but I think that is due to Easter weekend. Lots of sport on this weekend, says Kiwi Rob. There certainly is. Looking forward to it. Or looking forward to in the not too distant future for a draw versus Moana grand final. Oh yeah, says Rups. It would be absolutely incredible. And I know there's been a lot of talks about who's going to be a new side added to Super Rugby in the future. I mean, if that was how the final shaped up, surely we see another side from the Pacific Islands. But that one's going to be knocked sideways. Tom Savage has not taken it as cleanly as he would have liked, and Naitoa Akui now has the position for the Chiefs inside of the 22. Leroy Carter tackled low by Mufa Leo. That was possibly the worst possible start for Moana Pasifika, with the exception of the Chiefs retaining their own kickoff of just a clean catch and score. Like we saw from Ramika Poihipi, I think it was last year. And hi says Ilaria, welcome in. I always get your name wrong because I get confused at whether or not that is a little L or whether that is a big I, just with the way that it is. But now there's going to be the new advantage, this time in favour of the Chiefs. 4 offside, off to Jared Prophet. Oh, great driving tackle from Moana Pasifika though, forcing him backwards. McKenzie now finds Gideon Rappling in the middle of the field. He's had the ball stripped off him, so they will go back for the penalty. Right, now we're already at that stage how the Chiefs have a decision to make. Do they want to go for what is debatably the easiest 3 they will have of the whole day? Or do you take the risk? It looks like they are going to take the points. And I do like this to a certain extent, because some sides do underestimate Moana Pasifika, and it has cost them before. So I think that this is a good choice. Get 90 seconds into the game, have a lead of the 3, and then just have something to work off and work towards. It is an I. So it is 2 I's, or is it Ilaria? Is it? Maybe Ilaria. Because that second one, in fact, won't be a capital, will it? That will be a little L. So Ilaria, I assume it is. And now I do apologise that I've got it wrong so many times in a row. Yeah, I've always wondered whether or not it is, like I said, the small or big letters. Score now 3-0 in favour of the Chiefs. Kia ora, Hamish, says Chris Hayes. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Hope you're excited for this matchup. Watching the rugby on TV and streaming the football and cricket on the computer, and maybe the wires from 8 p.m, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, honestly, there's too much sport on involving New Zealand tonight. Like the fact that the Black Caps are going to be playing extremely soon. You've also got the, like you said, the Warriors going to be in action. I'm sure there will be other sports as well that we could find if we really needed to. Auckland FC, Wellington Phoenix. I don't know whether they're playing at all tonight against sides in the A-League. Jonathan Tamatine jumping on that ball. 40 metres out from the line at the moment here in Moana Pasifika. So it is Iaria, okay. Hopefully I'll get it right from now on. Moana Pasifika to win, says Chris. So you're saying another upset. That's going to be a penalty against Bradley Slater. Now Pellegrini, he will kick this one into touch. They were too far out to be able to take the 3, or at least you'd think they were, sitting about 60 metres out from the post. But that is a very good kick down towards that 22. Yeah, just showing that man there, Miracle Whailangi. He was absolutely phenomenal in his last matchup. Now ready to throw. Oh, no one jumped for that, and it almost was a knock-on from the Chiefs. In fact, it was. They will go back. Where's this game being played? It is being played once again up north, North Harbour Stadium. So that is the new home for Moana Pasifika. They did have it as Mount Smart for a little while, but with the Warriors as well. Oh, no, in fact, no, sorry. This is a different location to the last match. It might actually be. I might have got that slightly around the wrong way. I know that was where they had their first home game. I'll quickly, Pukekohe, says Novmum there. I'll get you the exact stadium name. So it is Navigation Home Stadium, where they are. I can never remember the sponsors' names. Only really where they are. Do you think the Black Cats will win tonight? Well, they've looked pretty good in the first two. So if Finn Allen can fire at the top of the order, they should have a decent chance. That's going to be another penalty. This time actually going the way of the Chiefs at the scrum. Who do you think is going to win? Evening to you, Kiwi lads. Hi, everyone. I think that the Chiefs, it is their match to lose. But Moana Pasifika, they've come a long way in just a couple of years. They used to be the easy beats, but we've seen a lot of sides actually really struggle to get past them. Free Dub Chiefs fam, Moana couldn't beat our reserve grade, please. 20 plus easy. Says High Life. But once again, that's what the Hurricanes thought. And they came into the game with their side muddled up and they had their big guys off the bench. But by the time the big guys made it onto the field, they were already too far behind. Short ball from Samapeni Finau. Big shot coming in on, that's going to be a drop ball from Jacobson. So the Chiefs, they are missing quite a bit in that midfield combo in terms of no Anton Leonard-Brown, no Quinn Tupaia, no Ramika Poihepi. Cortez Ratama won't be in the starting lineup. I mean, the bench for the Chiefs, though, looking pretty handy. We will show it now while we just have the scrum reset. They've got Ratama, Jacob, as well as Quinn Tupaia there. Jerome Brown, who was starting in most of the other games. Same with Tolkiaho and Ross. Instead, giving them that chance off the bench. The pack weight's 917 kgs for Moana Pasifika compared to 912 of the Chiefs. And it's always exciting to see Melania Matavao and also Tuna Tuitama. Some people may not even know who that bloke is, but he is just insane when it comes to his skill in the sevens. He had a little bit of a patch where he wasn't in his greatest form, but when he breaks through tackles, they stay broken through. He just keeps on running as hard as he can. We have good there. I look forward to each weekend enjoying a good game of rugby and commentary. Well, it is greatly appreciated you being here. We have got, I believe, the 5 streams throughout the weekend, including a match on Sunday taking place between the Western Force and the Fijian Roar. We have got there the Blues heading for another defeat tomorrow, says Banana. And Blues have to win just one game to start their comp, or their camp. My name is Italian, says Ioria. Thanks again, Hamish. Love your work, says Sai. Thank you very much for being here. So tomorrow, more than likely, unless there is rain, which would stop me from playing cricket, the only game for Super Rugby we're doing tomorrow is going to be Crusaders Blues, which it's a massive game to be able to cover. And then 2 games of the URC throughout the night, and then the Western Force Fijian Draw on Sunday. I believe those are all the matches that are currently penciled in. Weather permitting, of course, we might see Highlanders Reds as well, perhaps, if the weather does allow. Now Xavier Rowe going back across to the right-hand side. Samapeni Finau, McKenzie with the pass on the outside. Here comes getting in and rappling. Goes to a Moni Narua. How Samoa doing in the sevens? If I'm completely honest with you, I haven't seen how they're going in the Challenger Series. And, it was a massive shame when they got taken off the big circuit. I still don't think they should have. I feel like they should have just kept it to the 16 teams. That's a nice ball. Big shot coming in on McKenzie by Alan Craig. Now Naitoa Akoi tries a bit of a no-look pass, getting in rappling, kicks it in behind. William Harvelli, 8 metres out from their own line. Pellegrini, partially charged down kick. McKenzie cleans it up. I've got numbers to the left-hand side now. Sean Stevenson goes through on the inside to Leroy Carter, and Slater scores it. They may just check to make sure that it wasn't forward. But just like that, the Chiefs managed to get through and score their first try. A patient build-up. Like they've just said, you can't afford, as Moana Pasifika, to kick the ball straight down the middle of the park. I think he wanted the touchline, but had no time to be able to get it away. And then McKenzie, it was danger. Honestly, anyone on the outside could have scored it. Some really nice work from Bradley Slater, though, to be the last man who could receive the pass. And try, says David the Mod. Now Damian McKenzie, he will be lining up this kick. Smiling at the post, as always, more. Or many more to come Says High Life. And that kick is going over. They'll now make the score after 9 minutes, 10-0 in favour of the Chiefs. So, dream start. They haven't been too troubled as of yet. Mackenzie's already taken probably 3 big shots. They seem to love targeting that man. But Bradley Slater, like I said, right place, right time. And they do celebrate that one. Now Pellegrini to kick this one off has gone high. And nicely taken by Naitoa Koi. Kieran Tumafalau makes the tackle there. Chiefs need a decent lead in the first half. Moana Pasifika have won many second halves. That is very true, yeah. It's a forward pass, but it's gone straight into the hands of Moana Pasifika. Offloaded now. Finding the ball on the inside, it's going to be dropped, so they will go back for the scrum. But yeah, Moana Pasifika seem to come alive in the second half. If they have, in some games it hasn't even looked like it either, but if they have any chance of winning, they will just keep on putting their hammer down. And a lot of people do, for some reason, think that this Moana Pasifika side get tired due to the fatigue near the end of the game because they are such solid boys. But they speed up more than most sides in Super Rugby. Who do you think the best Chiefs player is this year? Says, or Iaria, I should say. I honestly, Leroy Carter's been a standout in terms of what he's been able to do just for his debut season for the Chiefs. But, there are a few guys, across the four-pack, they've had some pretty handy options. But, yeah, I'd probably go Carter, or I'd possibly say one of those two guys in the midfield. Tupai's been outstanding. We have got there, Chad Baker. Remember me? I'm Chad. I subscribed. I do remember you. You used to have a picture of yourself, I believe, Chad, if I'm not wrong. And the sevens really shift stick. With 16 teams also, there should be 4 groups each. Says Banana. Well, the fact that we've got just 3 groups and then the best place, third place teams go through, it's just, I don't know. I preferred the 16, Damien McKenzie. Yeah, I mean, he's probably a very obvious one. He's been outstanding throughout the whole year. Yeah, you could probably pick 3 or 4 different guys for the Chiefs. McKenzie, I think, has been the highest scoring fantasy player in 10 every single week. Spoiler goal, All Whites 1-0. Says Kiwi Rob. So in each sevens tournament, you have having 4 teams in each group, which is 4 groups, like they had, I believe. And they can't play 80 minutes after 60. They're gassed, same as the All Blacks. But last 30 years, they lack fundamentals also. Says High Life. Are you talking about Moana Pasifika or the Chiefs? I feel another try coming up, says No Mum, thrown in by Bradley Slater, almost stolen in the air for Moana Pasifika, but on the halfway line now. Flat ball off to Lou Jacobson, gets the offloader, getting in, rappling him on Narua, passes on the outside to Sean Stevenson, Leroy Carter towards the sideline and the touchline. He's going to be dragged down just short. They have played at the 9. Oh, Xavier Rowe takes it quickly and... Oh, no, it wasn't on the mark, so they have to come back. Are you back in tomorrow night, Satyrs or the Blues? See, that's the thing. That game's very hard to say, isn't it? Because the Blues have been so close multiple times and then just one little moment or one bad decision from them costs them. Whereas you look at the Crusaders and they've had a little bit of up and down this year, but overall look relatively solid. So it's either going to be the Blues finally find their rhythm, which, I mean, there'd be no better side, a lot of Blues supporters would tell you, than to be able to take it to the Crusaders. But yeah, honestly, I have no idea. It's about as uncertain as I've been going into a Blues Crusaders game for a very long time. Now passed out wide, Mackenzie. Stevenson steps and scores. Moni Narua, if he had gone out wide, would have scored it as well. So you had to make sure, got the job done, Stevenson. And that is now try number 2 for the Chiefs in this match. We have got there, what do you think of the Crusaders' performance this season so far? Says Yuppie. Honestly, it's been a lot better than last year. At least they've had some sort of shape about them. And I think that is down to Will Jordan being in the side, as well as, we're seeing some really outstanding work from the youngsters in the team. Definitely in that forward pack. Cullen Gracie's looked good. Shelfoon's been doing all right. So, yeah, I think that they've looked a lot better than last year, and I do think they're looking much more like a playoff team already. But it's whether or not that stays the same or whether they hit a little bit of a rough patch at some point, whether or not that's due to injuries or something else. But that kick has gone over from Damien McKenzie, and that's going to now make the score 17 points to 0. Like I said, I'm picking 60 points. Says High Life. Crusaders by 6, says Banana Lucy. Would be pretty cool to see Moana back to play for Pacifica against Mackenzie. It'd be interesting, that is for sure. I think that a lot of people also want to see him represent Tonga in the Rugby World Cup, or at least just, bit of a limp here for Sean Stevenson after scoring that one. That's a bit of a concern for the Chiefs. Talked about it in this game. They've gone with a relatively stacked backline in certain regards. The last thing that they want to have is some sort of injury here popping up that can heavily cost them. Xavier Rowe kicks it up high, and that's going to be nicely slapped back by Leroy Carter, but it goes straight into the hands of Lalomilo. Now, Jonathan Tamatine, Pellegrini. Short pass moving up towards the halfway line. 37 Chiefs, 23 Moana Pasifika. What is your prediction? Says Area. That one's going to be close to the sideline. I think that it is going to be a 60-plus point game, like you've said. Nice step from Damien McKenzie. After Gideon Rappling. Moana Pasifika trying to get those steals and the breakdowns, but maybe that is the absence of Artie Savia making it a lot more challenging. Daniel Rona kicks it downfield from his 22, now gets it to the halfway line where William Harvili has got the possession. I bet on the Chiefs this game, but had to bet $75 to win 10. See, that's pretty brutal, isn't it? So you've got them for, what even is that odd? That's 0.7 odds? No. Yeah. It's not very high anyway, is it? I think that, to be honest with you, gamble responsibly, of course, but if you were going to risk that, right, you could have put $10 on someone to score a try. You could have had $10 on Bradley Slater to score, and you would have made that $10 back with only risking 10 type thing. Like, it looks likely, right? You're still not saying my name right. Do you have a nickname? No. Iarea, wasn't it? Was that how it was sounded out earlier? Now, going to be a good steal on the breakdown from Kalen Boshier. Xavier Rowe. But I don't know the players, mate. That just seems like a big risk, doesn't it? I mean, you're probably going to get it back this time, but you'd never want to get one wrong with those type of odds, or else it puts you way behind for the rest of the ones that you've put on. Now, Tamatine getting ready to kick this one up high. Now, Toakoi with a little bit of a nonchalant charge down attempt. Now, off to Damien McKenzie. Little chip in behind. Ball not bouncing too nicely. Getting in Rappling. He just grubbers that one. That always looked like he was focusing on getting it to the touchline. Ilaria, is it? Maybe. Or Ilaria. Maybe. Something like that. Yeah, it happens sometimes, says Judah. Duty Sport and Super Rugby NPC or NRL, says Chad Baker. I haven't really got teams, to be honest with you. Just because I feel like anytime I've shown any sort of being slightly partial to a side, I normally get ripped into. So I think I just got used to being impartial. So I honestly just like seeing good games. Are we starting to see the class of the favourite or the divide again? Says Sai. I mean, Super Rugby odds have been all over the place, haven't they? In terms of, we had one round where most of the underdogs were able to get themselves victory. So, of course, when there's a clear favourite like this, Moana Pasifika will have to have a massive game to get it done. I'm Dutch. Don't see me put my name on it. Chat. Get a nickname. YouTube, not Instagram. Says High Life. The second one I said. Ilaria. Maybe. I usually bet around $30 to win $10, but this game the options were very few. Says Judah. Now Jonathan Tabatine will get to feed this ball in for Moana Pasifika, who find themselves down by quite a substantial margin after just 19 minutes. Already sitting 17 points to nil. Definitely not the start. I think the emphasis is on the syllable la. You'll be the sub, says Jay Baker. Anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Moana Pasifika are yet to lose a scrum this year. They have just put. Although, that's going to be... Okay, so that's 2 penalties against them at scrum time, but that must not... That doesn't count as a scrum lost, I don't think. I think the ball actually has to get in for them to lose one. So it's a bit of a manipulated stat, I guess you could say. I could either plus minus 60.5 or the Chiefs on the spread at 18.5. So I took the Chiefs on the money line minus 750. I feel another try coming up in about 2 minutes. Is that because the Chiefs are 5 to 10 metres out from the try line and have momentum? So I think most of us think that it's happening pretty soon. Good enough for us, says High Life. And now rolling ball here for the Chiefs. In a ideal position on the field. Do you like cricket, and if so, who do you support? I do like cricket, do play cricket as well. I give up on my name, Nu. Says Ilaria. Now going back across to the right-hand side. To Gideon Rappling. Off to the left. Just short of the try line was, I believe, Marakai Selby Rickett as Moana 4-pack better than the back line. Oh, the forward packs is lacking. Oh, that was lacking there big time. The defence, that's just out from the line. Rowe goes over. And they do get another try there, the Chiefs. That is now the bonus point, or at least the way that it is sitting. Chiefs up 22 points. But, like, the forwards every once in a while, like, last week, I believe it was for Moana, or their last match, we saw Miracle Whailangi looking like one of the best forwards in the whole comp. But every once in a while, like, they just seem to have their moments where they do struggle. The backline, Kieran Tomafalau, he's sitting 5 tries from 4 games. Like they've just said there, Xavier Rowe does get the try. Point a minute, says High Life. Yeah, a relentless performance, as they've called it, from the Chiefs at the moment. McKenzie, he is sitting 3 from 3. And that one has gone over. Do you have a girlfriend or a wife? Sorry, bad question. I have neither. I am by myself. Well, in that status, anyway. That was very close to Slater scoring just then. Like, we're talking inches. Chiefs are looking like one of the best teams in Super Rugby Pacific. Yeah, they've had a really strong start. They lost that game to the Fijian draw, but I do think that on another day they probably would have won it. So, like, they've been very smooth in what they've been doing throughout this year. Could the backline be improved if they have either have Lima Sopawanga or someone else? I think there are certain players that would do well. Sorry, says Ilaria. It was a fair enough question, to be fair. It sounded like I was very sad about my answer, but I'm fine. But yeah, like people have said about Richie Mo'unga as an option. Like Pellegrini, though, actually a really solid 10. He's gone with the cross kick there and has gone straight into the hands of Pipisana Patafilo. Used to play for the Hurricanes. The ball is out the side. Naitoa Akoi manages to steal it for the Chiefs. Now Rowe goes off to Damien McKenzie. He wanted to find the gap. Little bit of a juggle for Xavier Rowe, but he's regathered. Why you want to date? Big boy, you like scary movies? I do not get the reference at all, but I assume it's one from somewhere. Kicking it high. Leroy Carter hasn't taken it. Pellegrini has got it. 24-0 at the moment. Chiefs are leading. It's a tough day at the office. William Harvey, now he will look for a cross kick of his own. Nicely taken by Damien McKenzie. A little bit of pressure on him, but he gets it across to Sean Stevenson. Two-man tack on him by Craig, as well as Tailoa. Now Rowe, back to the left-hand side, McKenzie. Little grubber. Sits up for Pellegrini again. I think 1 year ago, says Chad. Who were your friends 1 year ago? The same ones who are my friends now. Which was, of course, George Daniel Isaac. George has been on the channel a couple times as of late in those Crusaders career mode episodes. So if you like swearing, he's the perfect one. Why are there different types of pictures on the screen? That is a very good question. Pretty much, I just didn't have two of this background, so I put FMG Stadium to the side just because it's kind of, you know, it's only really because it's like both teams. But then at the same time, this one behind me isn't even where they're playing. They're actually playing at Navigation Home Stadium. Do you have any pets, Hamish? I do not know. I used to, but not anymore. Yes, George, says Chad. Possession at the moment, 56% in favour of the Chiefs. Up the wires, says Chad. They've started the season quite well. Danielle is here, welcome in. You are doing extremely well. Meters made, the Chiefs have been going extremely well. 170 in total compared to Moana Pasifika, who have had around that 125, which is actually a pretty reasonable effort just at this point. But now, it's going to be the feed again. Xavier Rowe. And up the Newcastle Knights, says High Life. And the ball has been fed in. Jacobson goes across to Rowe. There is still plenty of time for more tries to be scored in this first half. Brumbies in the Waratah, says hey. That has taken place on Saturday night. Of course, I'm only another one with another offload. Going to Leroy Carter. And they're going to be 10 minutes from the line. They wanted the turnover, but unfortunately for William Harvey, he's got his hands in the air, but if he knew the rule, he'd know why he was penalised for that one, and it is because Lalomilo wasn't able to roll away. New Zealand 2-0 versus Fiji, and 42 for 1 versus Pakistan in the cricket. Says, time to meet your maker. And we're good there, just tuned in. Well, nice score at the moment. I guess Fiji gave them don't sleep message, says Choke the Woke. Do you commentate the NRL? We used to do a little bit of it. You know, on the Warriors versus Rooster game later. I think it is overlapping with this contest. Isn't it? Or is it a little bit later on? One moment. It might actually be a 9-something. Oh, no, it is at 8 p.m. So that's in 25 minutes, which will be during the time that this game is still taking place. Rolling maul now for the Chiefs. They are getting close. There's already a penalty advantage. Uh-oh. This isn't good. Double blow of the whistle. This might be the final warning here. Okay, Luke Jacobson was saying it's really, you know, they sacked it just before the line. We were going forward. Referee says it's very early. I don't think so, but honestly, okay, Tom Savage. Okay, so he's pretty much just said, like, we're trying to get our timing right, but the Chiefs are holding him up in the air for longer, which is meaning that we're not getting our timing right joining for the rolling maul. Although that penalty was for collapsing the maul, so it was for a different thing. Where did you get your name, the Kiwi Lads? Honestly, I think George just said it one day, because we used to be a different name, and then George was like, we should change the name. So then we were doing a whole heap of planning. Oh, Naitoa Koi here. He's got this ball that was, I think, joining from the side. That ball is going to be available again. Oh, it's going to be another penalty. Oh, it is against Tom Savage. And I, Hamish, I live in Durban and took a cool photo of the empty Shark Stadium before the game. I think it would be a cool background. Is there any way I could send it to you, says Mickey? Probably I guess Instagram would be a way of doing it, possibly. I'll go like that. That's the Kiwi Lads Instagram. If you guys do want to follow it, of course, be sure to do so. Are you a Warriors supporter? New Zealand and all, mate. Says Judah. I mean, I probably support the Warriors more than any other side in the NRL just because they are the Kiwi team, but I still like quite a few of the other teams. Like, it'll be a good game up against the Roosters. Hopefully both sides do go all right. Thank you muchly, says Mickey. And one-sided says Khrushchev. You're looking fresh and fantastic, Hamish, says Danielle. Thank you very much, Danielle. Greatly appreciated. I think I look a little bit red. I might have got sunburnt slightly today. Might have been out in the sun a bit too long. Like Evan says, Jad, thank you very much. Got plenty more coming. That one's going to go down in the scrum. Right, Xavier Rowe going in behind to Damien McKenzie. Short ball off to Daniel Roney, who tried to get back to his feet. Wasn't quite able to do so. Now Rowe going across a Moni Narawa. Skip pass out to Leroy Carter. And he does hang on to it. I thought he dropped it for a second, but he still gets himself another one. And the Chiefs, that is now their 4th try of this first half, I believe. So it's a hard day at the office for Moana Pasifika. Carter scored, says Nov Mum. So yeah, continuing his brilliant try-scoring form. That one, of course, the assist does go to a Moni Narawa. Like they're saying, it's going to be a big test for Moana Pasifika because not only is this really hurting their points differential, but, you know, they have to find a way slightly back into this contest. Still about a point a minute. Second half would most likely wake up Moana. Yeah, I mean, it has to, really. Kenzie missing his first kick of the day. And that is going to make it now 29 points to 0. Do you think, when you play cricket, can you live stream it? I don't think I can live stream it. But we've got, I think I've probably got like 20 games of cricket that I've worn a GoPro for. Whether that's like on my helmet or whether that's on the, like a GoPro chest strap for the umpire. Like, I've had a lot of games that I've filmed that I just haven't actually edited. So, I don't know. I've released a few of them before in the past. But I haven't got around to editing all of them, unfortunately. Hey, Hamish, what's cooking? Says Anthony. At the moment, tell you what, the Chiefs are cooking big time. Anthony, they are really not slowing down. They're trying a few risky plays now. Offload to Damien McKenzie around the back now. Nicely run forward, though. Miracle Faialangi. 2 metres out. Oh, that's cynical. From Sean Stevenson. Completely off his feet. 5 metres out from the line. Extremely lucky. It's going to be now the advantage against the Chiefs. Our brother man Stevenson scored. Yeah, he did score the second try of the match. Like a helmet cam. Exactly right, yeah. Her Pacific team versus British and Irish Lions. Our team is soon somewhere in July. That is correct. Yep. Recently announced. It is going to be great to see the Pacific Islands getting that recognition up against the Lions. Passed out wide. Oh, Filippo just runs out of space. I'll go back for the original penalty. He missed a conversion, bringing the Beaver. Says High Life. Tricks by 10 over the Wars. And out. Says David the Mod. Right, 8 minutes remaining in this first half now, ladies and gents. Looks like Moana Pasifika are just going to go for this quick tap yet again, try and keep this game moving. They're just deciding who it's going to be. That does run it forward. Good attack and run from Abraham Pule. As one-sided like the football, 3-0 Fiji. Watch the Instagram channel. Says a Judah. Oh, that is close to the try line. They might have been down there. No, it's going to be held up. One moment. We will go like that. And we'll go like that. That is the Kiwi Lads Instagram handle. What happened to Christian Lealiofano? Is he no longer with Moana? I don't think he is anymore. I think he did leave. Either that or he might be injured. This half went quick. It honestly flew by. Like 35 minutes since kickoff, 32 and a half minutes worth of rugby. So it's been ideal in that regard. We've had hardly any interference from referees or TMOs or anything along those lines. Big run forward. Gideon Rampling able to make the important tackle. No advantage for the Chiefs, slowing down the ball. Beautiful ball to Pepe Sana Patafilo. Offloads to Alan Craig. We had to do a diving catch, which did kill the momentum a little bit. Now, Filippo gets it off to William Havili. Pick and go. That's a try for William Havili. And Moana Pasifika, I think they just want to check this one, although it does sound like there's actually going to be a yellow card maybe for the Chiefs here. Is that? There might be just a warning, in fact. Beautiful. No look pass. The type of one that the Barbars would have even been proud of. Do you live stream football or soccer? We've only done, I think, like 2 or 3 games of football in the past. But yeah, not a huge amount. Right, I think they're just checking to see if William Havili got back. Oh, he might have been a little bit early there. But it sounds like it's going to be all right. Consolation try. Sears High Life. Right, sounds like they are happy with that one. So the try for William Havili will stand. Can you do a Waratahs career mode? Says Chad. I think eventually when Rugby 25 is fixed to a good level, we're going to be trying to do more than just one team. Like at the moment, we're doing the Hurricanes. But then from there, you know, hopefully we'll add a few more teams in the future. Kick from Pellegrini does go over. And Rugby Challenge 4, probably not on Rugby Challenge 4, just because it's one of those ones that, like with Rugby 25 coming out, a lot of people do prefer like the newer game. I tried the Kiwi Lads and one account comes up, but not this one. Doesn't it? Is it? Or what's the picture? The picture might be an old one. Is it like of a T and an M? Maybe. Oh, that's going to be knocked on. Hang on. I'll have a quick look. How do I do it? Can I switch accounts or is that not a thing? I don't think that's a thing. I don't really know how to use... Oh, wait, there's a switch button. So it's... Yeah, it's the _ Kiwi _ lads. And it's got a T and an M in the logo. That is actually... It is actually the right one. It's just with the old logo. That tells you how often we use Instagram, but we still reply to messages when we get them. I'll go, look, play account, Rugby25. Says High Life. And Waratahs got absolutely destroyed by the Reds last week, like 60. Says High Life. Now a big push again. The Chiefs have got themselves another penalty advantage. About 22 meters out. Where are you right now? And what are you watching? TV? So is in like, where am I in the house? Maybe? Or in the match? Currently we are 36 minutes, 12 seconds through. Naitai Akoi offloads up to Manakai Selby Rickett who runs it in. And the big lock. Okay, everyone's scoring now it would seem. Damn, that's out. Says Mr. Orlin. Now we over there. Okay, cool. Thank you, says Mickey. But Anaki Selby Rickett. Big man just goes through the gap. Assist from his locking duo partner in Naitoa Akoi. 4-0 to the All Whites. Says Kiwi Rob. Good effort late from Filippo, but unfortunately just too late. Now the score sitting 34 points to 7. I just realised the scoreboard was asleep. There we go. It has now updated to where we are. McKenzie with the kick at the post has converted. It's going to make the score now 36-7. 18 people playing Rugby 25. Highest was 40. Says High Life. 18 people. How do you know? Is it like on Twitch or something, maybe? And him 40 plus at halftime says, no, mum, they're not a mile off. They'd need one more try to be able to do so. And it has been an absolute try-scoring fest throughout this first half. Now kicked off by Moana Pasifika. Oh, a bit of a fumble for Naito Akoi. And we have G'day Hello Hamish or Warmer. At last in my valley, winter is done, says Kernovek, and that is going to be the penalty going the way of the Chiefs again. Should mention that Tom Savage will be returning from the bin in the very near future, about 10 seconds or so remaining for him. Have a good night, Hamish. I'm jumping off. Says Chris A. So we will see, I'm sure, at some point in the future. 58 for 2. Black Cats batting 6 overs done. So a decent power play by the sounds of it for the Black Cats. But Tom Savage now making his way on. I'm going to go watch the wires. I'll see you soon. Says Chad. 90 seconds remaining. Morning, rugby lovers. Hope all is good. Says Xander. Now Slater. So my mum told me to go in the shower. What have I missed? So probably 2 tries, I think it is, for the Chiefs. Most recently was Manaki Selby Rickett. Tackled on the halfway line. Another penalty goes the way of the Chiefs. Will you do the Vodacom Bulls versus Leinster game? Says Mary. I slightly shouted that since it was in caps, but yes, we will. As well as the game before it between the Sharks and Zebra. Look at there, cheers, mate, says Chris. A nice kick downfield. This is another attacking chance for the Chiefs. They have been scoring for fun, ladies and gents. And nice Chiefs, says Hari Hone. And Mitchell got lucky, but Chapman is cooking. Says Mr. Orlin. Bradley Slater thrown into the back. Nicely taken by Jacobson. Xavier Rowe. It's gone in behind, but nicely cleaned up by Sean Stevenson. Goes off to Damian McKenzie, who goes straight through and scores. What a fantastic try from the elusive number 10. They just cut them absolutely wide open through the gap, Damian. Well, it wasn't even a gap, though. That's the biggest thing about it. We have got there. What time do you think this game will end? Probably at around 8:50. I'd say probably another hour to go. Do you like soccer, Mr. Hamish? I do enjoy it. I don't get a chance to watch a huge amount of it, if I'm being completely honest. Like, the other day I decided I'd try and watch Chelsea versus Arsenal. And I think it was 1 minute and 2 seconds through before I had to leave and go do something because someone was at the door. So, I don't get much of a crack at watching. The good news about streaming games is no matter what, we get to do those streams for that window of time. What's going on with Moana Pasifika? They have struggled in the first half, big time, unfortunately, but see how it goes. Second 40 is just around the corner. 6 tries have been scored. And they lead 43 points to the 7. So more than a point a minute being scored at the moment for the Chiefs. It's a big one. Very good start. Oh, what I might be able to do, ladies and gents, if I turn this down to about there, we're going to go into the old multi-view and see how this goes. So we've got this one on. We can stick that one there. That'll be, I believe, the Wars, is it? It should at least be close to the Wars. Maybe. Okay, it doesn't look like it's loading though. If New Zealand, or in New Zealand, we call soccer hugs and kisses. Says Highlight, Moana Pasifika's coach won't be very happy with them, says Matthew. Yeah, that's been a big struggle throughout this first half, unfortunately. What channel are the Warriors? There they are. Right, there we go. Perfect. So we have got picture in picture, which pretty much means that we can see the rugby as well as the other game when it does take place. But second half, of course, we're probably sitting around 10 or so minutes away. Do let me know what you thought of the first half, ladies and gents. In terms of, was it about what you expected? I should mention there are multiple more games taking place this weekend. Next weekend, we only get to see 4 matches, and these are the ones that they will be. The Hurricanes versus the Waratahs on Friday night. Brumbies Highlanders at 9:35. And then Crusaders Moana Pasifika 7:05, followed by Reds versus the Western Force. It's the way that the table sits. Moana Pasifika, they did not have the worst points differential out of any side in this competition. That went to the Western Force. But now, when we look at the difference between these two sides, you're looking at 36 points, which takes Moana Pasifika to a points differential of -50. So that will be the first side to bring up the half century. Of course, the Chiefs will also bring up the half century of their own rights, this time in their favour. And they'll be a lot higher than that too, around that 70, closer to 80 in fact. In fact, almost closer to 90 to be fair, if this game keeps going the way that it is. These are the benches, still some great players off the Chiefs bench for them to be able to use, whether that is Ratama Tupaia or Taukiaho. Then for Moana Pasifika, Sama Malolo is there, Michael Curry, alongside Samisi Paia. And then they need some magic from the Sevens boys off the bench for the backs, Malani Matavao and also Tuna Tuitama. If they are 101 for Moana Pasifika to win, says Nomam, which is completely understandable, I would think. The Baby Waz, 46 to the 12 of the Roosters, says Kiwi Rob. However, there was expected. Sucks I let Leroy go, or let Carter go off my fantasy. Late changes. So who did you go with instead, Mr. Orlin? Who made the cut that got ahead of Leroy Carter? I really hope you didn't go with Kieran Tamafalau, because yes, that man has been outstanding, but we've seen only the one try from Moana Pasifika, that being David Havili, who was able to score it. Hurricanes should do some TARS, says High Life. And also exactly as predicted, says High Life. So yeah, certainly a high-scoring game to start the weekend. Swapped him for Tom Wright. They're playing the Waratahs, aren't they? I feel like that's not a terrible shout to have Tom Wright in there. Like, I assume that quite a few of these Chiefs players have got quite high fantasy points. I don't know who would have the highest at the moment. I think everyone has D-Mac on their fantasy. Yeah, everyone's going to be waiting for that 1 week where Mackenzie isn't the standout fly half. But the thing is, when that finally happens, it will be the ones who were confident enough to change him early. So whether that's going to be next week or the week after or the week after that, somewhere along the lines, maybe we're going to see Mackenzie not be the highest point scorer for fantasy from the 10 jersey. After Tars and Brumby's last performance, I was going off that, says Mr. Tars, says Mr. Orlin. France and the New Ireland, they dominated Six Nations. That huge pack thought, says High Life. I mean, they were extremely strong in the French, don't get me wrong. Like, I do think that Ireland, yes, they're in a tough patch, but I do see them still finding some sort of redemption before the end of the year. I know that a lot of people want to say, they've lost a couple games. In fact, they've only lost one, really, of that Six Nations. That's the thing. They only lost to France. They lost the same amount of games as the French. But it was the manner in which they lost them, I think, that was the big difference. But, yeah, I think they'll be back. Strong enough side. Couple good young players coming up through the ranks for them, whether that's Prendergast or whether that is a few of those other young guys across the back line. They're just showing the highlights here of the tries that we have seen. There was one for Moana Pasifika, but they also conceded 11 tries. I hope so. But worse, look at Wales, and yeah, you're right, says High Life. We've got there Caitlin McGee. As said, just here to check out the narrator's outfit of the day. I've got a, believe it or not, a polo shirt on. I'm not sure why. I feel like I'm slightly more well-dressed than I normally would be, but hopefully you are doing well, Caitlin. You are enjoying your day so far. Just showing D-Mac that killer step right at the end of the first half to get himself the try. And that is to make it 6 tries in the half. Question, what's your opinion? France sending a second stream team to New Zealand. Be honest. Honestly, I get why people are annoyed. But at the same time, it's like, New Zealand can just beat them if they're going to be that poor, right? Because, it's still going to be a challenge. Don't get me wrong. France's B team is still better than some international sides. So, New Zealand still have to win. And if that's the case, then it will drop France down the rankings. And then that puts pressure on Galtier. Even though his short-term plan is to not worry about that tour. It's instead to build towards maybe that next World Cup. But it is what it is. You've got to play what's in front of you. So New Zealand, yes, it won't get people as excited about the tours, but I think France will still come to play. So can the Chiefs get 70? Honestly, I think they'd be more disappointed if they didn't. Only another, theoretically, 4 tries. Bring it up to 10 for the match. Double digits. Always fun. I don't think they have club obligations. It is what it is. Yeah, like the guys are locked into top 14 contracts, which makes them have to play. Like Roman Intermac, he was an example of a guy who said, like, if I'm not needed for my club, I'd happily play for France again. But if you're stuck with those contract obligations, like, you can't get out of them. It's a little bit similar to what we saw, for someone like a Richie Mo'unga. He's in Japan and he's going, I want to play for the All Blacks again. But he knew that when he left, he wasn't going to be coming back. I think that's a poor excuse when they asked for the tour. Says Kiwi Rob. I mean, some people say it's a poor one, but it is it's a legitimate one. We have got there, I'm an old Irish supporter, and I reckon it's a load of BS that France are below us. A big load, says Kerno Wick. And yes, certainly the games up against New Zealand, if they lost both of them, the world rankings don't care what side get put out on the field. They just look at it as this side's ranked here, this side's ranked here, what's our difference? So France could find themselves way down the table by the end of July. And like I said, that kind of puts more pressure on the coach. Even if he said, we're throwing away this series, I still remember when South Africa in the cricket, they threw over this young side up against New Zealand and we almost got beaten by them. In fact, they might have beaten us in one of the matches. And now we are seeing why the betting apps, I had the Chiefs at minus 750 for the game. Moana are terrible, as Chiefs are excellent, says Judah. Would you want Artie at 7 or keep him 8 for the ABs? If 8, who you got as your 7? See, at the moment for me, I would go, and of course I'm not in charge, and nor would I want to be fair, but for me I'd go 6, Wallace Satiti, 7, Peter Larkai, or maybe Duplessis Karefi. Honestly, that man's been looking good lately, and then Artie Savia number 8. That's what I would do, but I don't know if that's what they will do. Yes, you could also switch Savia back into that 7 role, but I just don't see them doing it. Would you drop Mark Talia for Leroy Carter? It's a tricky question at the moment. Talia's in still pretty good form, but one thing I have come to slightly dislike about Mark Talia, and I probably am glad I'm mentioning it on this one rather than the Blues versus Crusaders, is there's so many opportunities for the Blues in a game where all they need is a pass out wide. But Talia's always lurking next to that breakdown, which stops the wide pass out to his wing, because we know how dangerous he is one-on-one. But he likes to go for those pick and goes, and not only does it fail some of the time, sometimes, don't get me wrong, it works, but when it fails, it just puts the Blues and all their momentum on the back foot, as well as, when he gets it or gets in there, it confuses the absolute daylights out of whoever's playing halfback, because they don't know if they're supposed to be at the breakdown or whether Talia's going to do 5 in a row trying to get that pick and go try. So honestly, for positioning wise, I think Carter, as well as the high ball, is honestly he's looking pretty good. I know it's a poor excuse, bro. It's on them ranking points for us. Yeah, I feel you, says High Life. Yeah, it makes it harder for some people to get excited about it, but now we know Dupont wasn't going to be playing anyway due to now his injury. But they want to see Ramos, and they want to see Louis Bielbarri and Damien Pinot, all the big forwards as well, which is plentiful at the moment for the French. I do see the Roosters and the Warriors are just making their way out of the tunnels now. So Mark Nawanga Netawasi. Well, some of you guys will remember him from his days at the Tars. Yeah, second half, not a mile away. Do you think it's too soon to pick Leroy Carter for the All Blacks? I honestly don't think so. I think that, no matter how early it is, if you're showing consistency and you've got form, I do think that Ray's is more likely to pick you than Foster was. So, for Leroy Carter, we've got to also remember this guy has been around for a little while. This isn't, yes, it's his first season of Super Rugby, but he's played Union before. He's been playing in the Bunnings NPC for a few years. He's had experience for the All Black Sevens, on the Olympic stage, on the World Seven circuit. So he's felt that pressure of being in big matches before. Yes, slightly different circumstances, but I think that, like, in terms of the amount of experience he's got, he's actually a bit more experienced than some of those young guys. Trying to sell me a TV on the monitor. 65-inch TV for $1,300 sounds cheap. In terms of compared to other TVs that size, is it not? But I'm not going to buy a TV. I use the monitor. Kieran Reid was an 8. Artie Savia is no Kieran Reid, in my opinion. Rito is a 7. Says Kurno Week. Yeah, I don't know whether or not I'd transfer Kieran Reid to 7. I feel like for a long time he couldn't get that spot because of, you know, Richie McCaw. I see my knight Simon Brown from Para for 13 million, 10 years. Ponga, Gagai, your next premiers. Says High Life. We'll mention second half of this contest is only moments away. We've had quite a few air breaks in between. Still plenty of matches taking place throughout this weekend. The first, or the next one, is going to be Highlanders versus Reds. Wires are underway. They certainly are. Roosters with possession at the moment. I've got a little bit of a multi-screen going. It's up in the top corner, so we'll be able to keep you updated with what is happening in that contest too, including about 25 post-contact meters from the Roosters in that one. But yes, very exciting times in terms of sport tonight. The Black Caps also playing. I think someone said that Auckland FC, they were going to be playing as well. So it's just all out action. But I was mentioning about Super Rugby games taking place this weekend. Highlanders versus Reds is, of course, one of them. We've also got the matchup taking place between the Blues and Crusaders, and then Brumbies taking on the Waratahs. That is also going to be happening in the evening. And then Sunday, it's Western Force versus Fiji and Roa. Something you don't see too often is a Sunday fixture of Super Rugby, let alone a Sunday fixture in the evening. Of course, the reasoning behind it is because of the time zones. No A-League this weekend. Oh, so someone was just going for Auckland FC in general rather than because they were actually playing. That makes a little bit more sense, I guess. Right, that sounded like they just said no changes have been made for either of these sides. So we do still see the same locking duo. Now, I should mention Tupavai was in my starting lineup for that note, but it was actually Selby Rickett who was starting in that locking duo. It's the international window, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, of course, New Zealand actually playing at the moment, aren't they? So, it does make sense. Are the Stormers playing this weekend? They are, except they do play at the same time as the Bulls. So, it's Bulls versus Western Force. Stormers versus Scarlets, I think, is who they're going to be taking on. So, yeah, we're going to be doing the Bulls Leinster, but also keeping you informed of what's happening for the Stormers too. Going to be kicked off long. Seen 43 points already scored throughout that first half for the Chiefs. See if they can do it again. Going to be kicked high towards the touchline. It does go out. Real Sports and NBA, or is NBA, NHL, baseball, spring training, starting NFL draft, plenty sports around. Says High Life. A line out throw. Looks like they actually made the change. Sanarevi off. Or is he? No, I think he might still be on. They made the change in the locking duo, though. Okay, Tanu Munga just saying there that they were chasing shadows in the first half. 43 points in the half. Has to be the most of any game this season. That's amazing. Says Judah now running in behind. Oh, hung on to, I should say. Chris Apua. He's made his way on. So Moana Pasifika emptying their bench pretty early in this match, or at least emptying a majority. It is Summer Malolo, in fact. Bring up to 25 metres out from the line. Any substitutions? None at all for the Chiefs, but many made by Moana Pasifika. I've counted at least 4 at this point. On off to the right here, Tom Savage. Get the yellow card in the first half, so he wouldn't have been too happy about that. Of course, Pellegrini now going across to Crisapua again. Naitoa Koi trying to get in the breakdown and does end up giving away the penalty. She is a little bit surprised about it. I meant that Reed was number 8 born and bred. Artie is not a born and bred number 8. Must be taller timber as a line-out tailor. Artie brilliant as he is. There's no line-out tail jumper. Artie is a born 7. So here's Kurnovic. Going to be about 5 metres out from the line now. And a massive chance for Moana Pasifika. They have been well known as a second half team. Okay, so they've just said about Tuna Tuitama. Now they've got him actually out on the left wing with Kieran Tumafalau moving to the other wing. Now it's going to be overthrown. Beautiful pickup from Pellegrini. Lalomilo. Only a few metres short. Here comes Crisapua. Moana Pasifika. Strike first in the second half. Ball from Jonathan Tamatine. Abraham Pole steps and goes over the big man between the sticks. And Moana score the first try of the second half. They will be more than happy with that one, I would say. It's an important one for Moana Pasifika. Yes, there's still a huge way to go, but like we said, Moana Pasifika, they are known as a second half team, and they are proving why here. Yeah, just slamming down. Kalen Boshia and Naito Akoi trying to stop him. Both unsuccessful. Moana Pasifika striking back. Says Matthew. At least Moana Pasifika don't have a donut, says Nov Mum. And Matt, we park and bus, says High Life. Kike's gone over, making the score now 43 points to 14. Only 43 and a half minutes through this game as well. At least Moana don't have a donut, says Nov Mum. That is true. And I mean, 2 more tries for them and they cancel out the Chiefs bonus point in this scenario. So that would probably be the bare minimum goal here for Moana Pasifika. We are now ready to go again, kicking off for the Chiefs. Pellegrini inside of his 22. Let's get a great amount of distance on that down towards the halfway line. Warriors are currently on attack as well, ladies and gents. About 10 metres out from the line. Now loose ball. Sama Malolo slides in and manages to get it. Back to his feet and has another crack. They are up to the halfway line now. Moana Pasifika. Kicked him high from Pellegrini. McKenzie waiting for the bounce of that ball. Goes straight across field to Sean Stevenson. I think that was extremely close to a forward pass. The crowd are not happy about it. Now Pellegrini decides to take this one quickly. Tamatine goes across to the left. Little chip in behind from William Arvili. He was taken out late. So another penalty goes to Moana Pasifika. They are on a little bit of a roll at the moment. Chiefs definitely want to try and shut down this momentum. Xavier Rowe, the man who took out the 15. Now again, they will look to kick this one towards the touchline to the Chiefs. Or Moana Pasifika do a haka. They did not for this game. No, both sides just made their way on and went straight into the action. Good kick into touch. About 15 metres out. The ill discipline of the Chiefs starting to creep in a little bit. Oh no, in fact it was Jared Prophet. My apologies. It was Xavier Rowe who did take the catch. Right, sounds like time is off. Referee has just said. And Ratama will make his way onto the field. That is for Xavier Rowe. Maybe a couple other early changes are about to be made for this Chiefs side. Oh, well stolen by Naito Akoi. Now going back, Cortez Ratama. In fact, that Xavier Rowe is no longer out there though. It means that Ratama will maybe look to up the tempo that little bit more. He's going to kick it into touch. Making sure it went wide enough that they weren't going to be able to take the quick throw as well. Now 40 metres out from the line. Sama Malolo with the line out for Moana Pasifika. And Bruce playing the Scarlets. Sears Gregor. Oh, and stolen again by the Chiefs, but this time it was slapped into touch. Not going to be an easy day at the office at line-out time by the looks of it. They might actually consider just going to the front here. Oh no, this time they go to the back. Nicely claimed. I think it should still be on the side of Moana Pasifika, even though... Oh, yep. One by White, then played back. They won't be happy with that, Chiefs. That's like 3 or 4 penalties back to back to back that they've been given away. Okay, they're just saying about Tupavai not being able to play in this game, which does bring Thompson onto the bench as well at the number 19 position. Not sure how much time he would be expected to play, seeing as he wasn't initially in the starting 23. Oh, drop ball from Moana Pasifika. It's gone backwards twice, though. Again, they can look to try and create some sort of offense, I should say. Whereas the Moana Pasifika home ground, please. So it is now North Harbour Stadium, although they are playing in Pukekohe for this matchup at Navigation Home Stadium. Now, sitting 10 metres out from the line, Jonathan Tamatine, rush defence from the Chiefs. Trying to shut it down early, damnation given the LBW. Says Mr. Orlin. Now another step, Whailangi. 3 metres out from the line now. Almost stolen by Caleb Boshier. 1 metre. Oh, he's thrown the ball at the line, I believe. So it's going to be a scrum feed for the Chiefs about 5 metres out from their own line. Mistake made by Tuna Tuitama. Ref on the whistle like he's at Plonker Barnes. Says Mr. High Life. Looks like they are actually opting to go for the goal line dropout, sorry. Oh, just... I think that was a Moni Narua who managed to actually get a hand in there and stop it from going. One moment, I am about to sneeze, so we will quickly mute. We are good. I was going to go to this game, but too tired, as it is now a drive one way. Says Novma. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Pellegrini going on the outside. Now quick hands. Chance for Tuna Tuitama. Again, moves only 5 metres out from the line. Tamatine. Moana Pasifika, they have not given up here. In fact, if anything, once again, they've found their second half rhythm. It's going to give a lot of opposition a bit of a headache throughout the second 40. Now Tamatine with the little pop pass up. Doesn't quite go as wide as they would have liked. Medical Whailangi. Off to the right, Pellegrini. William Harvili held up by McKenzie. Was then driven into the turf. No advantage as of yet for Moana Pasifika. So good discipline shown by the Chiefs. One of the first times in this second half, as they have been penalty magnets for the last 5 to 10 minutes. 11 phases in a row. Chris Apua now locking over the ball. Luke Jacobson does get the penalty steal. So that's going to be the not releasing going against Moana Pasifika, who are on the verge of getting themselves their third try of this match. He's had 21 metres made tonight, Luke Jacobson, from his 5 carries. Maybe he hasn't had as much ball in hand as some would have anticipated. Tuna Tuitama, some good stepping from him, only 5 metres out from the line. And the Chiefs are looking for constant steals when they can. Ready to throw this one, and it is Bradley Slater. That didn't look very straight, but because Moana didn't throw anyone up, it means that it is allowed to be if it's uncontested. Cortez Ratama. Looks like it's going to be rolled back for him by Bradley Slater. It's gone high again. Leroy Carter chasing after this one. Pellegrini has dropped it, so it is knock on. Advantage in favour of the Chiefs. Naito Akoi goes across to McKenzie. This is where it becomes danger. Kicked him behind from Daniel Rona. I was looking for the 50-22, but the ball does pull up. Now Tuna Tuitama, not known for his kicking, isn't able to find touch with it. 40 metres out. Tuitama does slip over. Now Slater goes across to Leroy Carter, who will straighten with his run, going straight at Chris Apua. Now to the right-hand side, Prophet goes across McKenzie. Finds Daniel Rona. I think he was foot-tripped almost by a Moni Narawa there, who's missed the tackle. Offloaded on the inside to Tuitama. So Moana have probably at about 80% possession at the moment in the second half, which is exactly what they needed. That was a big shot on Jacobson, who's had his fair share of concussion problems, and he has stayed down with a bit of a head knock now. The Chiefs, they will continue to play with 14. Damian McKenzie looking for the 50-22 and doesn't quite get about half a metre. Oh, William Arvelli decides to take it quickly and now will kick it towards the touchline. Doesn't manage to find touch as of yet. Oh, where are we going? Oh, it's gone against the Chiefs for holding the kicker. It's a unique penalty. So he's held the player back. Okay, I get them. So it's after the kick has been taken. He's grabbed the jersey to stop him from chasing. Right, looks like there are about to be about 3 changes here for the Chiefs. A whole new front row about to be in action. Tolkiaho be chomping at the bit to get out there. Slater has scored already. Yeah, Jacobson, unfortunately, it's just a bit of friendly fire, I think. Don't recognise many of the names in the comments. Feel like I'm at the wrong party. Says Bruce. Oh, yeah, there. Hey, Hamish, how about that rice price in Angola? Says Martin. Is it gone up or down compared to normal, Martin? Do let me know. Now, Tamatine around the halfway line here for Moana Pasifika, I believe. Yeah, Jacobson's going to continue in this game, although he doesn't look flash. In terms of maybe a little bit wobblier than normal, but his mouth guard must have said he was all right. Oh, Ratama kicking it forward. He's going to go into touch. Oh, the Warriors just about scored, but they are held up. Right, it's going to be Sama Malolo, who has got the throw here for Moana Pasifika. If they want any chance of being able to win this game, they would need to score again many, many times, but within the next, I'd say 5 minutes or so. Theoretically, getting 5 tries for 7 points apiece, that will put them 35 more. That will put them up to 49. It's not impossible, but it's certainly going to be tough to do up against a side that have prided themselves on their defense. So much the discipline in the second half, though, for the Chiefs. Damatine, Pellegrini now trying the cross kick. Oh, McKenzie doesn't take it cleanly. And Tuna Tuitama, 5 metres out, well defended by the Chiefs. Almost a massive blunder from McKenzie. They both have pace, Narawa and Stevenson, to get him behind and stop him from running to the try line. Awaz, Cleveland Browns, same thing. See his high life. Yeah, unfortunately for Sama Malolo, for Tuna Tuitama, he just had no one within earshot of him. Line out throw for Simasoni Tolkiaho. Nicely taken by Marakai Selby Rickett. Did score a try earlier on in this contest. And back into the pocket, McKenzie. Kicks it high and kicks it out. A lot of damage done to that McKenzie knee by the looks of it. That's the reason that he was out for a little while. He's been through quite a few battles already this season. 24 minutes left. Thrown in, Sama Malolo. 10 metres from the line here for Moana Pasifika. And this one's marching forward actually quite nicely here. I think Manaki Selby Rika has to be very careful here not to come in through the side. Now Lalomelo. Tackled by McKenzie again. Tamatene offloads up to Sama Malolo. Krisapua, big run. Oh, looking for the turnover, and that's another penalty going against the Chiefs. I'm sorry, but this almost has to be a last warning, doesn't it? That's about 7 in this half against the Chiefs. 11 offside, 5 metres from the try line. Looks like they are going to go for the tap and go once more for Sama Malolo. Looks like he's just having a bit of a conversation with his forward back to decide where they actually want to go. Back down just out in front of the post. Looping around, and they are over again. Moana Pasifika with Sama Malolo get themselves another. Warriors can't score points versus an old man Sydney City team. See his high life, but Sama Malolo, he gets his 3rd of his career, his 1st of the season. And again, Moana Pasifika have just shown how dangerous they can be in a second 40 minutes. Chiefs at the moment have not scored a single point in this half, whereas Moana Pasifika would have scored 14. 4 more tries, which I know sounds massive, but 4 more and they're back in this game. Even 1 more try, I believe, for Moana Pasifika, and they will stop the Chiefs' bonus point, which when we get to the end of the season and the end of the competition, it could be the difference between a home final and an away one. Now, kick from Pellegrini has gone straight over, like I said, and 21 minutes remaining, and 22 points difference between these two sides. So if Moana can score at a point a minute, just like the Chiefs did in the first half, they'll be back in it. Maybe those 3 points right at the start could be the difference maker for the Chiefs as well. Quite a good crowd by the looks of it at Navigation Home Stadium. It's great to see Pellegrini inside of his 22. Almost tackled a little bit high from Samasuni Tolkiaho. Oh, bit of a counter-ruck coming from the Chiefs. Not working out for them though. Ratama not happy. And one of those breakdowns. I feel like now that he's got the buzz cut, he reminds me of TJ Perenara, which I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. So I feel like TJ was an absolute menace with his buzz cut. Now line out throw for the Chiefs. I think it's all Wallace in the crowd, says Nov Mum. Parking the bus. It's still not close. Relax. Says High Life. We're seeing them Moana Pasifika scored by quarter. They have scored 50 points throughout the 4th quarter of their games. They're actually 2nd on the list for that department. And for the Chiefs, they are 1st with 71 points in the last 20. So it's about to get very interesting. The two sides that finish a match extremely well. Oh, overthrown. Knocked on, though, from Sama Malolo. Just an unfortunate fingertip. Oh, okay, Chris Apua has decided to try and start a fight with Leroy Carter. Now, Lalomelo goes over. Of course, he is well and truly familiar with some of these guys. Oh, right. Looks like Naitoa Koi. His day is going to be done. Same with Gideon Rappling. It's going to be a big chance here for the youngster Ross Thompson. Currently 19 minutes left now on the clock, though, I should mention. Quintupaya, such an experienced head. And an informed player as well for this Chiefs side. Now Ratama Waiting for that one instead. He's going to leave it for Jacobson going off to the left-hand side. Passes on the outside to Leroy Carter. Runs straight over the top of Pellegrini. Almost a steal in the breakdown from Moana Pasifika. Quintapaia tackle low. And the penalty does go the way of Moana Pasifika again. Every breakdown at the moment, they're looking competitive. Which is brilliant to see Miracle Langi, the man that time to get over it. Now we have, I think rugby should be played on cricket pitches like football. I think rugby should be played on cricket pitches like football. I mean, Eden Park does have cricket and also rugby. I think Sky Stadium, oh no, not quite. They have a different one in Wellington. But yeah, there are a few grounds that do both. We have got there, our try Rooster score says High Life. It looks like Roosters number 10, was it? To get over the line. 22 points difference at the moment. Summer Malolo with another line-out throw. I mean, full AFL circumference, says Katzenell. So you're saying like Sky Stadium... Wait, so you're saying like the Bay Oval in New Zealand you want to turn into a rugby ground? Maybe? Because I feel like that's one of the only ones that I can think of that, like, Hagley Oval, you want to see rugby played there, I guess, rather than the new Christchurch Stadium that they're building. Now, it's going to be kicked downfield. The Chiefs now, nicely taken by Sean Stevenson. He will look to kick that one into touch. Is not able to, though, at the back. Kieran Tamafalau, who's had one of his most quiet games of the season. He scored 5 tries across 4 games. He certainly hasn't scored one here. In fact, he's hardly touched the ball. 6-0 was. Says High Life there. It's going to be kicked downfield from Damien McKenzie. Looking for the 50-22. And again, it will be just outside. I think he's been within a metre or two twice now for his 50-22 attempts. Just outside of that 22-metre line. But McKenzie, once again, has had an extremely solid performance. Josh Jacob, he is probably eagerly awaiting his chance, but I don't think he's going to get a huge amount of minutes at the end of this contest. Unless, of course, he comes on for someone else. I think that Stevenson's done enough to stay out there a bit longer. Same with McKenzie. Looks like Kieran Tamafalau is actually going to be taken from the field. Looks like maybe the way he was holding his arm, maybe some sort of shoulder injury. Hopefully nothing too serious, but it looks like one arm's swinging and the other one is not for that man. Now, Daniel Rona going on the outside to Quinn Tupaia. Puts the chip in behind. Awkward bouncing ball. Oh, Tamatine almost flirted with too much danger there. Come on, the Chiefs, we need more tries. I'm an OG, says Chad. You certainly are. Yeah, that ball just wouldn't quite stop bouncing. Oh, Jonathan Tamatine, and it was well put down in the end. 15 minutes left on the clock. The Chiefs still tryless and scoreless in this second 40-minute half. And go the Chiefs, says Reed. Run from Luke Jacobson. Oh, Chris Apua a little bit slower getting back to his feet. OG. You look like a bot, says High Life. He's been here since, I think the channel had less than 500 subscribers, just on a different account now. We have got there, who do you think will win? I do think the Chiefs have got this one. Like, as much as Moana want to make that comeback, I can see them taking away the Chiefs' bonus point, though, for being within 3 tries. Oh, Pellegrini almost dove on that ball to take it into touch, did he? No, not quite. Summer Malolo still going to be their throw. Josh Jacob now onto the field. Almost stolen by Thompson. And Jacob's on for Stevenson. The Chiefs, says Dravis. Now, we'll We'll get to see Mackenzie at fullback for a little bit of time in this matchup. 3 tries for Josh Jacob across his 10 Super Rugby matches. A lot of people feel like he could be a young future 10 for the ABs. Up the wire, says Chad. They're showing people in the stands. Josh Jacobs' grandparents, I assume they just showed there. Now Tamatene, big wheeling scrum. The ball does still come out the back door. Chance out wide. That was an unnecessary hit from Cortez Ratama. The man was always kicking it downfield, but decided wanted to get that cheap shot in, like I mentioned. Get a buzz cut like TJ. And all of a sudden, he's trying to break the rules. Now Ratama is back across to the left-hand side. Mackenzie looking to tap it in behind, but it's well claimed by William Harvilli at the back. It's a good kick. Let's pull up about 5 metres out from the Chiefs goal line. Into Pyatt. Drops it onto the boot and does get it into touch about 40 metres, or in fact a little bit closer than that, about 36 out. And try wise, there's Chad. And 6-4 to the Roosters. Says Chad as well. Yeah, shifting it off to the right-hand side by the looks of it for the Warriors, and then just sliding in. And a wise score 4-6. The second half is very meh. Says Nomam. Is it very meh as in like Chiefs performance or entertainment-wise? Because I've been thoroughly entertained. This Moana Pasifika side have come with a vengeance for the second half, which is fantastic to see as always. A little bit of a loose ball. That one's going to be picked up though by Tom Savage. Almost went through. 6-0 to the All Whites. Says Kiwi Rob. It's going to be the knock on from the Chiefs initially, so we are going back for another scrum. Another change. It's going to be Tui Pelotu. Making his way on. It looks like Lalomilo might have a little bit of a neck injury or something along those lines. Perhaps even a head knock. Looks like also a little bit more strapping going on to the legs of Moana Pasifika's forwards. And Leatoa scores. Looks like they weren't able to convert those, so the score will remain 6-4 in that game between the Warriors and the Roosters. Vision missed by the wire, says Chad. Just showing the upcoming games that are taking place for Super Rugby. So pretty much if it's not raining tomorrow, I won't be able to do the Reds versus Highlanders early game. I am going to be scheduling the Crusaders Blues game though, and we will be doing that one on the channel. I'll be back from cricket by then, and even if cricket's still going, I've been given the permission to leave slightly early for the sake of getting back in time for that contest. And then we've got 2 games of the URC throughout the night, and then Western Force versus Fijian Roa, another one that we are going to be doing on the channel as well. So still another 4 more live streams throughout this weekend. And Wires 4-6, All White 6-0, Black Caps 172 for 7. And they don't even win a premiership. Says High Life, now going off to the right-hand side. Lalomilo gets it out wide. Good pace being shown. Mackenzie misses the tackle. He's got himself plenty of fantasy points throughout this half, but I'm sure that'll take maybe 1 off. 5 metres out from the try line. Jonathan Tamatene. Showing some love to New Zealand from Australia, says Liam. It is great to have you here once again, Liam. It's been a little while since we saw your name. Oh, what a finish. Too casual from the Chiefs, and Moana Pasifika score again. That takes away the Chiefs' bonus point, just the way that we are sitting. And they'll never win a premiership, says High Life, and penalty for the Wars. And Chiefs falling asleep, says Nova, but Tuna Tuitama scores on debut. Pellegrini, perfectly weighted kick. Josh Jacob just sits there and watches that one as Tuitama grabs it. And, oh, he's dropped it. He's dropped it. That's going to be no try. Never mind, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of luck 146 points with the captaincy for D-Mac right now. Wait, did they just say they can't see anything other than, like, it was a clear knock on. So I think they're going to be checking this one. Be safe baseball on Tokyo. GG. And GG on commentary says high life. I think it's been cleared. That's a little bit surprising. The only thing I can think is they're saying that it did go backwards rather than forwards. And even though he lost control, he still grounded it? Is that what they're trying to say? I mean, I arrived late, says Anodost. And we should mention there is actually no second game tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Right, we're going to see the replay here. You see, in real time it looked good. So maybe the thumb they're saying was in control. And geez, wake up, says Novmum. But yeah, at the moment they are in a position where they do not get the winning bonus point. They'd walk away from this game with 4 points rather than 5. See there, Jerome Brown. Oh, it's going to be knocked on. No penalty, in fact, for Moana Pasifika again. Going to have to find a little bit of discipline here, because it is heavily costing them at the moment. Once for tackler not releasing. Pellegrini again is going to be putting this ball into touch. Jacobson's gone off for Jerome Brown as well, I should mention. Just seems like many mistakes at the moment are happening for the Chiefs, and every time that they give away a penalty or knock the ball on, they're losing a lot of meterage. By the way, IPL starts this weekend. Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, like this weekend is just absolutely stacked with sport. Alt knock on from Moana Pasifika. Okay, ref says that's fine as well. No, now he's got the call. Just going to go back for the knock on. And the Chiefs will have the put-in. Did he change the score? Says yikes. One moment, the mouse must be in the wrong place. If I wiggle it around, there's like a little tiny box that if I hit the right area, it updates. Oh, there we go. I get the bonus point back. Says Novmum. Yeah, may not seem like something substantial at the moment, right? But, you know, those bonus points, they could be absolutely crucial as we head through the season. The Chiefs haven't had their bye yet. Another advantage. And that's going to be the penalty going the way of the Chiefs. Oh, it's been happening to the Chiefs. They said we're giving away easy points to Pacifica by the look of it. Yeah, first half, whole different side for the Chiefs. And then second half has come around and they've given away 10 penalties and they've just looked lackluster. They haven't scored a single point in the last 32 minutes. Whereas in the first 32 minutes, they probably had 5 tries in that period. Cheers, Bell, great work. Says yikes, and yawning AMHB too. A bit slow in second half. Cricket's good, says Moa Hunters. We have there, yes. Fifth Waratahs. What are you doing? Terrible. Was are doing terrible. Sorry, I've just worked out what that was. Now rolling Maul for the Chiefs. Simisoni Tolkiaho. He's got the position at the moment. This one's starting to creep around a little bit more. So it's going to be quite difficult to get out of there. Ratama goes across to Quinn Tupaia, 10 metres out from the try line. Ratama again. Goes off to Boshia. Ratama, this is actually, I would almost say, the best chance for the Chiefs to score of the whole half. Like I said, it's taken 34 minutes for them to get into this position. Now Tupaia, Jacob goes across, McKenzie can handle it. Jerome Brown plays half. Lalomilo, I believe, was offside by about a metre. It's going to be stolen though. and it's another foot race. Moana Pasifika, they will have another one. I think Lalomelo might have been offside, but it's another try for Moana Pasifika. GG's, what are you doing? Yeah, they're letting Moana back into the game. Now if Moana Pasifika score another try, they get the bonus point for being within 7. This is a brilliant, example of a game of two halves. They are the Wawas now. It's like the Chiefs playing, each smoked a blunt at half time. They seem chilled. Like they've said there, Moana Pasifika, I mean, we knew they were a half or second half team, but, 43-7 down at half time to then sit as they do here is just insane. 5 minutes left too. There's time for them to win this contest, which I cannot believe. Pellegrini has got that one over. That makes an 8-point difference. Well, a game of two halves, says Mr. All-In. Yeah, it's been pretty much the epitome of first half, one team looks dominant, second half, they disappear. And Moana make the most of it and come on. Moana Pasifika, says SS2. So what has changed for the Chiefs, I wonder? They didn't make any subs right at halftime. Yes, they've made a few changes since then, but think about who they've brought on. Samasoni Taukiaho, he's had All Blacks experience. You've got Aiden Ross. I believe he is now out there too. Cortez Ratima, Quinn Tupaia, all these guys that are hugely, I would say, in form. And then this is what's happening. Crazy Moana Chiefs. I need to get their minds out of the gutter. That's going to be kicked downfield, and it does go out around the halfway line. Oh, it was taken back, though. That is the crucial error from Moana Pasifika, which might have just cost them here. But the Chiefs now need to score twice in the last 4 minutes to get themselves that winning bonus point back. That's going to be a tough task. Goal all white 7-0, says Kiwi Rob. Now 4 minutes left. Already had 78 points scored throughout this contest. No advantage once again against Moana Pasifika because of the rolling maul timing. It's moving nicely now. Going short side. Looks like it's stuck in there. Jerome Brown. It can go to the short side. Jonathan Tamatine almost managed to get the turnover. That is right on the ball, and that is... Okay, they're going to go back for the original penalty. Yes, the steal was good from Tui Pilotu. 7-0 sheesh. Says Mr. All-In, and Chiefs only lost against Fiji. They are at the bottom of the table, says Not Ost. I was worried this was going to happen. Teams get complacent when they have a big lead at and the opposition can just play. And 6-4 still in the NRL, says Chad, and they have gone for the rolling maul attempt here again. Two and a half minutes. Can they get 2 tries, I wonder? I think they'll definitely want to get one, and one could be on the cards. They can still bring up 50, but it'll only be a 15-point win, which isn't a mile off some people's early prediction of Chiefs by 14. Now throwing this ball in, well claimed by Marquis Selby Rickett. And now, they roll over, and that will be the try for Taukiaho. I wonder if any of the players are doing the maths well enough in their head to know they still need one more try to get that bonus point. I've said that does secure the game at least here. Just Taukiaho slides through. I'm not sure, Daniel. I haven't actually seen their lineup for their matchup up against the Fijians, Wellington Phoenix or Auckland FC, says Chad. I'm honestly pretty impartial. I know some people have decided, even though Auckland, I guess, are the shiny new team, that they are sticking with Wellington Phoenix just because they've been around for a bit longer. It's almost a case for a max fix inquiry, says Kerno Wick. Is it? So what do you think the match fixing is for? Like for a certain win margin, or what would it be? Because I mean, it's still going to be about a 15-point victory, which is still thoroughly impressive. Hello, Hamish. How is you? Says Nasoni. Doing very well, mate. Hopefully you are keeping well too. It's going to be kicked off by Pellegrini. And it's going to be slapped back onto the side of Moana Pasifika, so they will get the last attacking chance of this match with just the 30 seconds left. A Roosters try, says Chad. Right, ball is there in behind. Ooh, big shot on Quinn Tupaia by Lalo Milo. And that's hurt his head by the looks of it, Tupaia. Came in to try and take that ball away. Looks like Mark Nawanga Netawasi is having a bit of a hard time trying to score here in the Roosters game. And I know stepped dead before the try, says Chad. Oh no, in fact it was Daniel Rona by the looks of it to take the head knock. Good game, bro. Enjoying your commentary with a few beers. Cheers, says Lion. We are going to be back tomorrow with plenty more action. We're doing Blues versus Crusaders, which is going to be an absolutely massive one. Can you Rob, this is your neighbour. Shut up, I'm trying to sleep. All I can hear from you is goal this, goal that. I'm going to call noise control. Oh, you shut up, says Jickle Timmy. I think that is. And we have got there, where are you originally from? Sorry for asking. So I am originally from the South Island of New Zealand. Now, big scrum feed. Going off to the right-hand side. Chance here for Moana Pasifika. Popping the ball up to Tuna Tuitama. Already did score the try on debut. Ball stolen by the Chiefs here. They actually do still have time to get one last try. Although Moana Pasifika, counter ruck, managing to take the ball back. Jerome Brown can't get it. So the Chiefs did the hard work of managing to get the steal just to allow one last attacking chance for their opposition. A pick and go around the side of the breakdown. Big clean out on Cortez Aratama. William Arvili inside border. Pellegrini was fully set up. Thompson puts in the big shot. Moana Pasifika, they can't actually gain anything from playing for longer, but it's not like these boys don't want to just kick that ball into touch. Little grubber attempted from William Arvili. He's actually just kicked it into touch, but I feel like he tried to play it off as if they wanted a grubber, so it didn't look as bad. But that will be the end time, or full time, in this contest, ladies and gents. 50 points to 35. Quite a different scoreline than it looked like it was going to be for the second half. 28 points to 7 was the second half tally in favour of Moana Pasifika. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be back tomorrow with the Blues versus Crusaders, as well as the matches of the URC. And then on Sunday, Western Force versus Fiji and Drua to also keep an eye out for. But thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all for the next one.